Hello, everyone. Welcome to another GI interview. I'm Alex Stanek. We are joined by Maja, the studio director at Studio MDHR.
Yes.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. This is my first live interview, so thank you for joining me for that. So, yeah.
Thank you. No, thanks for having us.
And I don't know what to do with the microphone. Obviously, I keep
You know what?
Yeah.
You just cuddle it.
Yeah, okay. Just hold it like it's my baby. Yeah, so we're here today to discuss Cuphead, the delicious last course. Very exciting. You guys showed it at the conference over the last couple of days, and I'm curious for the people who don't know, like, what did you bring to SGF?
Yeah, we're so excited to have participated at Summer Game Fest with Jeff Keighley and so grateful for that. We brought, so yesterday's show, we showed a snippet of one of our new bosses from DLC Island, Mortimer Freeze. And then today at Playdays, or today and tomorrow at Playdays, we have the full boss experience of Mortimer Freeze.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's really great to be able to put him out into the wilds,
right,
and see people experience him for the first time.
For sure. He is an icy cult leader. Is that an accurate?
Yes. Yeah, that's actually a perfect explanation of what he is. It takes place in an icy arena, so that's the major kind of underlying theme.
For sure.
And one of the things that we did with DLC was, we're known for boss transformations, but this time around we really put a focus as well as on location transformations. So you would have noticed through the different phases, it doesn't stay in a singular arena. There are different backgrounds, and we think it turned out brilliantly.
Yes, as someone who just played it, I can agree with that. So, is that the case for all the bosses in Delicious
Yes.
Last Course?
Oh, absolutely. We really honed in on our craft, pushed the boundaries on what we were able to do. We're not governed by timeline. Obviously, I think we're notorious for that.
Yeah.
We, as a studio, our number one priority is quality, and we really wanted to, like I said, hone in on that craft, push the boundaries, see what we could do with 2D animation in video games, and I think that fans will be hopefully pleasantly surprised.
Yes, definitely. And that's interesting because I was a part of the preview that you all did over Discord and stuff like that, and one of the takeaways was, this took so long because you kept doing the hand-drawn animation and stuff like that. Like, was it easier this time around, or was it just as hard as it was for the main game in 2017?
Yeah, I think in one respect it was easier in that we knew exactly, we have a streamlined process of how we go from concept to animation to inking to coloring. That is quite streamlined, but more challenging in the fact that we were pushing our limits in terms of the quality and the scope of what each boss is. So they did take longer because of that.
For sure. And can you say how many bosses are in the DLC?
Yeah, so it's our biggest aisle yet. I can say that there are 5 supersized bosses, but there are many other things to discover and secrets that is going to definitely extend your gameplay.
Okay, I gotcha. So I got to go hands-on for the first time. I gave Mortimer a good wallop or two, but I did not beat him, unfortunately. And now I was so close. It was that thing. It was like, yeah. Where does he and maybe you don't have to go into specific detail, but like, where does he rank difficulty-wise out of like what we're gonna see here? Because obviously Cuphead known for difficult bosses. So
yeah, no. DLC as a whole follows a natural progression in it being the 4th island, and so you'll notice that and you will feel that versus Inkwell Isle 1. But I think they're relative to different skill sets, and I think that they're across the board going to be just as challenging and exciting. But yeah, in order to play DLC, you actually don't have to beat the entire game either. You just have to beat one mausoleum, and then a mystic character will appear at a nearby shoreline or dock. You talk to this character, and he will explain how to get there, and he'll take you there. And so it's a good way for somebody who maybe didn't beat the core game to also experience DLC.
For sure. And when we get to the island, we learn a little bit more about Miss Chalice and the story behind what's happening. Do you want to kind of touch on that?
Yeah. So due to timeline and budgetary constraints of the first game, we weren't able to bring Miss Legendary Chalice to life. Although it was always a vision, always a desire. We wanted to bring her to life, and so the success of the game enabled us to do that through DLC. Miss Chalice is built from the ground up. She is not a reskin of Cuphead and Mugman, so thousands of frames of animation. In order to play as her, you have to equip a cookie charm, and you will learn that through the mystery character you will meet. But because to play as her, you have to equip the cookie charm, you no longer have that charm slot. So it's a push and pull in terms of her abilities, but she does come with a dash parry, so you don't have to perfectly time your parries. She has an invincible roll, so when you have ground enemies, you have a window of time where you're invincible if you do a roll. She has a double jump, and she also comes with an extra HP. So it's a bit of an amalgamation of different charms in one, since you don't get that charm slot.
For sure. And I think the point y'all were hitting on and when we talked before was she's not easy mode, right?
No,
it's still going to be difficult. And as I learned, it's still difficult. Like, don't worry, everyone. Like, it's still a challenging game. But, you know, I feel like the conversation around like accessibility has changed a lot since 2017. Yes. You know, what was important for y'all at the studio to hit with this, so maybe it is a little bit more approachable to some people who maybe were intimidated the first time around? Yeah,
I would say don't be intimidated. All skill levels, we have all skill levels within the company itself, and it's just as fun for, you know, a novice player to a seasoned one, for sure. And I think with Miss Chalice's new abilities, it's going to be it's complementary to Cuphead and Mugman. So somebody who may not have, you know, hit every parry or been able to do things with Cup Mugman, give Miss Chalice a chance. You never know. But at its core, it's our love letter to 1980s retro arcade games, and they're not fun if they're not challenging.
100%.
So.
Yeah, for sure. And now with Miss Chalice, she's not just limited to the DLC island, correct? She can be taken in the main game?
Exactly. That's a great point. We are super excited that you can play as Ms. Chalice. If so, a seasoned gamer or somebody who has beat the island and wants to re-experience it all over again, you can play as Ms. Chalice through the entire core game as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. And in your personal experience, like, how has that kind of changed the main game for you? Have you enjoyed it more, like, you know, like when you take her onto the main island?
I have, absolutely. Yeah. I prefer playing with her, and she's like my homegirl.
Yeah, for sure.
I love her.
Yeah, shout out to the homie, Miss Chalice. I hope you're watching. And outside of adding Miss Chalice and then the ferryman, is that the name for the boat ferry guy? You know what I'm
Boatman.
Boatman,
yeah. NPC, yep.
It's not, the main game isn't changing a ton, right, outside of those additions?
Nope. The main game boss patterns or anything like that is not changing, which was an element of, you know, we had to thread the needle between being inventive for the new bosses and have her moveset fit that, and also retroactively have her work with the existing bosses without touching them. So we think we struck a really good balance. We're very happy with it. And but yeah, the core bosses from the main game are unchanged.
For sure. Okay. Another thing that, I guess, another feature of the DLC is that it doesn't have platforming levels anymore, correct?
It does not,
okay.
No. So we wanted to experiment a little bit with another avenue for obtaining coins to buy things in the shop. And I'm not going to disclose it here today because there's got to be an element of surprise on the 30th. But we're very happy with the way it turned out, and we think that fans will be pleasantly surprised.
For sure.
It's a new experience.
Yeah. Y'all obviously developed this during a tumultuous time in the world, a little bit. I don't know if anyone noticed, but yeah. I don't know, it's just inside most of the time. It's fine. What are you most proud of when you look back at these last, you know, it was announced in 2018, but, you know, I'm sure y'all have been working on it longer than that. Like, you know, what are you most proud of when you look back at the development cycle of this?
You know what, I can't pinpoint one thing other than the fact that we stayed true to quality over, you know, things like timeline, budget, things like that. Like as a core value statement in the company is quality. A premium experience for players, and I'm also just our people. It was not easy on any developer whatsoever, and they're just amazing group of developers and animators, and we're like a very close-knit family. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It is family.
Yeah, for real. I think I'd be remiss if we're talking about Cuphead and didn't bring up the soundtrack. Like, what are you excited about for this new music, original music, right, that's coming?
It is absolutely incredible, and I'm not being biased. I literally listened to it. I think I mentioned this on the Discord chat the other week. Chris Madigan is like a different type of human to me, where I'm just like, how did you do that? Fans will notice a difference in terms of genre. So there's a little bit of some Rococo with like early Western genres interweaved with the same jazz undertones. It was almost a double the orchestra size.
Wow.
Yeah, so over 110 person orchestra. Recording that throughout COVID, not fun.
No, I don't doubt it. Yeah.
But health and safety was at the forefront for sure. It was just a lot more recording sessions. We're really excited that we captured some behind the scenes videos, so you'll be able to see some of those come out in the coming months.
Nice.
It's an incredible soundtrack.
Cool.
Incredible. And one of the things that's actually unique about our experience this time with recording music versus last time is Chris went off and recorded a whole bunch of songs the first time around. And then we kind of retrofit, like, okay, this song sort of matches this boss, and that song sort of matches this boss. This time around, we really honed in on what the bosses were going to be. It was all the stuff that was in the back of our minds that we wanted to get out on paper.
Right.
And then we debriefed with him in terms of, this is a boss. Let's take Mortimer Freeze, for example. Go and write for him. And so I think that fans will really notice a difference in terms of the music and cadence, specific and unique to each fight.
For sure. Okay, interesting. How long does it usually take to beat Cuphead? I know we've talked about it a little bit, but yeah.
I know, it really varies.
Yeah.
It varies. I even within the studio, it varies wildly. I would say that a seasoned Cuphead. What I can say is it's the biggest island.
Yeah.
So if you kind of map it back to some of the other islands and how long that took you, that should give you a good baseline.
Okay. Okay, got you. Was there ever a point when y'all were developing the Delicious Last Course, did you talk about making it Cuphead 2, or was it always like, no, this is DLC, this is our last homage to these characters?
That's exactly it. Initially, we were like, do we make this a standalone game? It was a very brief and short discussion because it didn't make sense. Storyline-wise, genre-wise, era-wise, we just had a lot of these homages that we hadn't paid tribute to that were, I think, as many developers can attest to, like so much lands on the cutting room floor, we couldn't let go of it.
Right.
And so we were like, you know what, let's just put it together, package it up, call it a DLC, and give people more bang for their buck, I guess.
For sure. Is this obviously, never say never, right? But is this the last time we'll see Cuphead content for at least the near future?
I can't tell you that.
Okay, all right. Do you want to, without being too specific, right? What are y'all working on next? What's the future look like?
We are not going anywhere. We are big fans of 2D animation. Yeah. I can say that. So you'll see more of that, and just many more things out of the studio.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. This is a great first interview. I appreciate it. So if you enjoyed this, we have a ton of stuff coming from Summer Games Fest, podcasts, gameplay videos, the whole thing. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.